Rice, rice, baby.
Oh.
All right, stop. Elaborate and listen. I got rice with a whole bunch of chicken. That's all I got. Hi, and welcome back to another edition of Cooking Chris's Dishes with the Good Old Boy. That's me, where we're cooking up dishes straight from recipes that Crock.com, which is my beautiful wife's cooking blog that has well over 500 recipes and rising. And today, straight from the site and now onto the counter and going to be on the YouTubes, is a crock pot bourbon chicken. And it's a pretty simple recipe. It's a delicious recipe. It goes great over rice. And if y'all have never had bourbon chicken, go to a Chinese joint, hopefully a favorite one that serves really good food, and try it. It is super good, but I could tell you, you can make the very same thing, probably even better, at home, and it goes a little something like this. You need crock pot bourbon chicken. It's the big font that I can read. No, I need my glasses. Aww. I'm sorry. You need 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken. I chose chicken thighs because they're a little bit more tender. Actually, a lot more tender than chicken breast. 1/2 cup of teriyaki sauce. 1/2 cup of chicken broth or bourbon. We got the bourbon. And 2 tablespoons of honey. 1 teaspoon of mustard. 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/8 teaspoon of ground ginger. We ran out of the little bowl, so she's got that together in one bowl here. 2 tablespoons of dried minced onion, and then rice, which we have right here. You're not going to throw this in. This is what you put your chicken over.
Serve it over.
Yes, you serve it over. Did I say 2 tablespoons of dried minced onions?
Yes.
I think I did. They're right here. I almost thought that was coconut for a minute, but it's not.
Nope.
Don't put this on top of a coconut pie. All right, and so what you want to do is take your slow cooker and you want to spray it with a cooking spray.
Oh, I didn't do that. You'll be all right.
But my wife says that she didn't do it and I'd be okay. So if you don't want to, she just said you don't have to. Place your chicken pieces in a crock pot. Well, the first thing I want to do is take my pound of chicken. We got about 3.5 chicken thighs. I went to our local IGA, bought 2.05 pounds of chicken the other night, and it was, 7 pieces I think were in there. So we just went straight down the middle. There's 3.5 and here's 3.5. I'm just going to take my chicken, and it doesn't have to be anything precise. You're just going to cube it up a little bit, and that way you can get kind of bite-sized pieces. And like I said, the reason I like chicken thighs for a dish like this is because they're very tender, very flavorful. The dark meat is real flavorful in a dish. If you want to one thing you can do is cut some of the fat off of it to make it a little better for you. So I'll do that on this piece there. And if you want to lighten it up even more, you could use chicken breast. That's going to be a better cut of meat as far as a leaner cut, but it's the weekend around here, so I'm not caring about the leaner cuts.
Well, the leaner cut, but this is one of those dishes that it won't turn out nearly as dry because it doesn't have a super long cooking time.
Right. It was only a couple hours, right?
Yep.
A couple hours and you'll have bourbon chicken like you would from your favorite Chinese joint. Like I said, nothing real fancy here. You're just cutting pieces. If some are a little bigger than others, that's fine. One thing I don't recommend doing is going super fast like I'm trying to do right now because I about laid into my finger there. And something tells me y'all probably don't want to watch that. Although that would be a good Friday fun day, I guess.
No.
Mikey goes to the ER. I've been there a few times.
Yes.
And the few times that I've been there have all been my fault. Like the time I was getting ready to go to work and I went upstairs into our bedroom and I had to run in real quick and grab a shower. So I run upstairs and I took off my shirt and I did it kind of dramatically. But I threw it off, and, you know, I did it underneath our ceiling fan in the bedroom. And I don't recommend doing that because it cracked my hand, and I thought I broke it, and kind of hurt. And then there was another time when I was staining our deck, and we've got this retaining wall that's about 4 foot tall.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And I was on the retaining wall, the very edge of it, the ledge, and
Go clean.
I was staining it, and I was sidestepping, and then I sidestepped one more time, and I was paying more attention to what I was painting than what I was standing on. And the next step I took was air. I wasn't standing on the wall anymore, and I fell 4 foot, almost broke my leg. I'm gonna wash my hands
And your area.
and my area. So I don't really care to go see the ER anymore.
I don't care to take you.
Alright, so I'm going to clean off my station here a little bit. Because again, raw chicken, bad. Cooked chicken, good. So we'll get rid of this. My nose is itching like all get out. Wash my hands one more time. And now,
You're going to make your sauce.
I'm going to make a very good sauce. I'm going to make this a bourbon glaze that goes over the top of it. And you want to take chicken pieces, put them in a crock pot, mix together your remaining ingredients except for your rice, because, well, you don't want to do that. Take your garlic powder and your ginger. Whoop, right in there. This is your honey. Honey.
It's going to be hard to get out of there.
Yeah, a little bit. But we'll manage. Maybe. Yeah, we got her. Your brown sugar. Your onion. Your bourbon. And your teriyaki sauce. And, ooh, thought that was going to look real cool, stacking that all up like that. Like I was being organized or something. And then your mustard. 1 teaspoon
Yeah, I figured you might.
of mustard. 1 heaping teaspoon of mustard.
Oh my.
Woo! Alright. I'll shut my sink off. And is that it? Chicken broth, honey, mustard, brown sugar, blah, 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 yep, And then mix it up. Stir it up good. Get everything all married up. Pretty much stirring it up until I know that honey has kind of all incorporated itself with all of the other ingredients in there. You could smell the bourbon in that.
Yep.
And one thing I've learned from making this recipe, I came home last night and Chris was prepping the first recipe. Because what we'll do for these tapings is she will do the final product and have it good to go. And then I'll come in for the show and show you what it is like and tape it and talk a lot. But I learned last night I'm not a bourbon drinker. But she had the bottle of bourbon that we purchased to make this recipe. And I just poured just a little bitty shot, probably a half shot of it. And took a drink of it. And realized that in a glass by itself, I'm not a bourbon drinker. But if you put bourbon in a recipe, that's when I like it.
But if you don't have bourbon or don't want to, you can make the same recipe with chicken
broth.
Yep.
The one thing I don't recommend doing is coming home and drinking a shot of chicken broth. 1, not the same effect, and 2, ew. Alright, now once you got everything mixed all together, you pour it over your chicken. Just like that. Oh, it smells good. And I'll make sure all the chicken gets down into the sauce.
Yeah,
Do not lick the...
No, I would stir this occasionally, or even just make sure you stir it real good at the end.
And you want to set it on low for 2 to 4 hours. Like Chris said, stir it every once in a while, check on it. This isn't a set and leave it all day kind of recipe. It's going to be done real quick. You cut up your chicken, so when you cut up chicken, it doesn't take as long to cook. And then it says, if you need a longer cook time, don't cut your chicken just before cut your chicken up right before serving. Also, if your sauce is not as thick as you would like, please see the note at the bottom of this post.
Uh-oh, I didn't give you that. That's where she talks about you can either, you could do a cornstarch slurry, or we talked about, where you would just add some tablespoon of cornstarch to a tablespoon of water, and then pour it in and turn your crock pot on high, or I think she was doing it in a skillet to thicken it up.
Yep. So you could either turn that into like a gravy, the same way you would make a gravy. Cornstarch, water slurry, poured in there, and heat it up real good. Or the other way to do it is like we've done before, like especially with the maple whiskey ribs. Take the chicken out and set it aside, and then take your juices. Your juice. I was trying to say juice and sauce at the same time. Mm-hmm. So your juices, and put it in a skillet. Rapid boil it down to make a reduction. It's going to make it a lot thicker.
To where the sauce reduces to about half the size. And so that's just different ways. I threw in a tablespoon of cornstarch with a tablespoon of water about a half an hour ago and popped it on high. So what you're seeing is it thickened up a little bit. But if you want a super thick sauce, probably a reduction is the best way.
If you're wanting to glaze, the way to do it is to make the reduction. That's sure.
Right.
That's for sure. So I'm going to take this and kind of stir it up. It's a little thicker now. It's not like super thick. But again, that chicken has soaked in this for the last, 2-3 hours? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of flavor in that chicken. I am going to grab a spoon. My house. I lost my fork. Look at that chicken. Look at that.
Yummy.
Checking the color of all the juices and everything. Put that over the top of my rice. And I'll take some of the sauce, this juice, right over the top of that into the rice. And we will give this a test.
This was why didn't I get to eat that?
Yeah!
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to, but I don't want this recipe. If you got any more recipes like this, it's my turn.
Eating it.
Any more recipes like this, it's my turn to try them. Okay. Listen up. As a feller who absolutely loves Chinese food, that is better than any dish you're going to get from any takeout joint.
Really?
Yes. And that is, what kind of rice is that? Is that just minute rice?
Yep.
Minute rice with that bourbon chicken over it is better than any takeout joint you're going to get it from. You could taste the flavors of the bourbon, but not the alcohol. The alcohol's done cooked out. It's been sitting in there cooking for 2 hours. It's all steamed out of there. But you still get the flavor of the bourbon, which is really good, especially when it's up against all of that brown sugar and that honey. The mustard and the ginger give it a little bit of an Asian bite. Not heat-wise, of course, but just a zing. It gives it a zing with all that sweetness. You put that with the bourbon, holy cow, and then, of course, you've got teriyaki sauce in there as well. All those flavors put together have soaked in to that dark meat. It's tender. It's delicious. That is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Make that. I would make that once a week if it was me. She probably won't let me, but I would so.
You missed the trash can.
Trash can's 2 foot away, and I totally missed it. Don't worry, I'll clean that up later. But again, folks, that is a very, very, very good recipe. I'm sure y'all will dig it. And again, if you don't want to use bourbon, use chicken broth. You won't get the flavor of the bourbon, but it'll still be a good recipe. That teriyaki sauce will hold its own. But yeah, that is really, really good. Good job, hun. She did a good job on that recipe. Everybody say, good job, Chris.
That wasn't me, honey.
You didn't make that?
That's Aunt Lou's recipe. Well, I made this one.
Well, yeah.
But it's Aunt Lou's. Aunt Lou put it on the site.
I'm sorry, stop. Don't type yet. Say, good job, Chris and Aunt Lou. I was just saying you did a really good job with that chicken.
Yeah.
We want to thank y'all for watching another edition of Cooking Chris's Dishes with the Good Old Boy. And if you like what you saw, down below the video here is a thing called subscribe. And subscribe and you will automatically be a member of the Crock Posse. The worldwide Crock Posse. And we're so happy to have you here. Also, if you would, comment, like down below. Give us a shout out and say, hey, where are you from? Have you made this dish? You know, what would you do a little different? We're here for you. We're family. We're friends. We're here to chill together. And also check us out over at Facebook at Recipes That Crock, as well as Instagram at Recipes That Crock, and on Twitter at Recipes Crock. And y'all keep coming back and watch these, and we'll keep making them. In other words, y'all keep watching, and we'll keep cooking, and all will be well. Thanks again.